Okay, I think we got 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Do what you do.
I'm going to hit record.
Oh, thank you.
I put a big note in front of me.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. At this time, I call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
To the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, wait a minute. I lost you all.
We're here.
I have to go back to where I was.
Come back.
Go to the meeting. This
We
one.
see you, Joyce.
You can see me?
Yeah, don't do
My
that.
camera's on, but I can't figure out where you all went to.
We can see you, Joyce.
We're here.
All I can see is Nick, and
It only changed on your screen.
the only ones I can see, Nick.
I can only see John.
Really?
I can see everyone.
On the,
I've got full screen.
okay, on
Bob's standing up. Why is Bob standing everyone?
I had to go to another computer while he was closed.
Oh, come on, Farrell, get it together.
hold on, everybody. So if anybody's having
There
a
you
problem,
are.
on the top
He's
right,
I jumped up to get the flag and I lost you there for a minute. Okay.
listen, on the top right is the options for how many people you can see.
Yeah, I see it.
And look,
Camera and auto settings, do you see all that? So Patty, you should be able to click on it and get more cameras.
I'm looking. You know what? I gotta use this more often.
Which button, Nick, in the settings?
Oh, actually, I'm sorry, it's right in the center. It says view everyone. So I
View everyone.
everyone.
I know
Make sure it's.
I know I had it before. Okay, let me
Okay,
just.
we'll get started. So, in case there's
All. Mine says all. Okay, I got it.
All right, so now Joyce, roll call, please.
Mayor Caucus,
Here.
Mrs. Passio,
Here.
Mr. Ranieri,
Here.
Mr. Lovenstein,
Hi.
Mr. Farrell,
Here.
Mrs. Kelly,
Eleanor?
He's here.
Eleanor,
Eleanor.
She said here.
Eleanor, are you there? I can see her.
Eleanor's here.
Okay, she's waving. Mr. Shapiro,
Yeah, if you talk now, he'll be back.
he'll be back.
He said
Mr.
here.
Long,
Here.
Here.
Mr. Masur,
Here.
Mr. Anderson,
Here.
and Mr. Wozon.
Here.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just remind everyone, when someone speaks, the other person, we can't hear them. Because speaking over top of each other mutes the other person. So at this point, I'll read the statement. Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. So at this point, I'll read the statement. Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open.
All right, I muted. It was coming from Rich, and I muted him.
Okay. By the clerk in the following manner: 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 8th, 2020, and 2, emailed to the retrospect and Carrier Post on January 8th, 2020. So this evening, we're not going to vote on anything. There's nothing on the agenda that we have to vote on unless someone has something that we need to vote on. Mr. Bayshore, Mr. Wozon, anybody, Mr. Anderson, if there's something we have to vote on it. But at this point, this caucus meeting is only going to be discussion, and then all the other items will be on there. Mr. Wozon, I know we have a resolution for a new employee, but we could probably just wait till the council meeting, and then we'll make it effective as of Monday. That makes sense?
Yeah,
Mr.
I have
Chair?
no information, excuse me, Mayor, but I don't have any information on him anyway.
Okay.
You're copied in the email, and yes, that's fine for next Tuesday, Mayor.
Mr. Long, you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't believe there's anything we have to do this evening. So everything we can just discuss, and then we'll have it at our next week's meeting. So the order of business we have is the public hearing for ordinance 20-09. And for everyone, what that one is, for us to take over the scouting building, we have to have an ordinance. So it'll be a first reading at the next meeting and then the public hearing the following month. And what that does is that sets the proper procedure for us to take over the scouting building. There's also a lease that Mr. Long has put together, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but I'm just gonna remember it. So Dan, if you want to jump in at any point, but basically what it says.
I'll pull it up.
Okay, do you want to give just a summary, just so everybody knows what the?
Sure. Give me one. Let me just load it. So essentially, it's we lease back the scout building to the scouts. They will pay us the sum of $1 per year. They will be permitted to use their facility as they see fit. It'll be a 3-year lease with a 90-day notice of renewal. The borough, we can't terminate or refuse to offer renewal upon good cause, as is determined by us. They have to, and we of course do, have to maintain sufficient liability and property loss insurance. The scouts will be required to maintain the facilities, but we will be responsible for the repairs. The scouts are responsible for all damages caused by their own negligence, and they do have a duty to report all repair or maintenance issues to the borough as soon as practicable. This was a big part of this, that the borough shall have the right of entry at any time upon 24 hours notice to the scouts. The mayor and I had a discussion about this today. This would apply in a scenario where if we would need to use that building for whatever purpose. This is just speculating, but in the event that we need to distribute a vaccine, in the event that we finally get one for this, or need to use it as a voting center, or you can use your imagination, but we can, with 24 hours notice, have a right of entry and access to the building. And then finally, that a lease can only be assigned with the prior written consent of the borough. Without that, they will not be permitted to lease or to assign their lease. So we buy it, lease it right back. We essentially enter into a partnership with the scouts and really use our respective resources in order to ensure the best operation of this building. So if there's any questions, Mayor, I hope that was the summary you were looking for. But of course, if anybody has any questions, more than happy to answer. They've been really terrific in responsiveness and willing to work together just to iron out those minor issues as there is in any sort of thing like this. But it's been real smooth sailing.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
I never mind, Mr. Ranieri.
As finance director, is there an asset value to this property for us?
Potentially, I would say potentially.
I'd like to know what it is.
I don't know what the assessment is or anything like that, but I figured with the scouts it became too much with maintaining its access.
It's going to go into our asset file, so I just would like to know the asset value. I'll figure it out.
Sure. All right, we'll figure it out. Sure. But the answer is I would believe so.
Thank you.
Ms. Passio, you have to unmute.
I'm sorry. You keep referring to scouts. So who do you mean when you say scouts? Is there an executive board?
Yeah, the Runnemede Scouting Committee. They do have a board.
Okay, so
I've been in communication with their lawyer, Mr. Viola, throughout all this.
So it's the Runnemede Scouting Committee, and
correct.
Okay, so when you say that on a 24-hour notice, the borough can use the building. Now, say that say that the scouts had something going on, and the scout takes priority, right? Let
me clarify that 24 hours.
Okay, wait a minute. What I want you to tell the people out there is, why are we doing this? Okay, and there's neighbors across the street. There's the residents in town, and I know the place needs to be maintained, but why are we doing this?
Okay, I can answer that.
Okay.
So, to give history, Ms. Passio knows this, most of everyone on this call knows this. The scouting facility has been in decline for many years. They lost their abilities to hold certain events because they could not meet the standards of the fire marshal's office. And then most recently, they lost the ability to have the Girl Scouts utilize the building because of the condition of the building. Our engineering firm went in, looked at the building, and made a determination that it needed substantial work to get it up and running. The only way for the borough to invest in this building would be that the borough would have to own it. And I think that's what Mr. Ranieri is saying. This is now an asset of the borough once this transaction goes through. Once it becomes an asset of the borough, then we can invest in it. We can put proper bathrooms. We can put proper HVAC equipment in there. We can put proper ADA requirements and things like that to bring the building back up to a standard that is acceptable for a public space. So our goal will be to get this building up to a public space. The reason that the clause allows us to get into the building is just like the Harry Williams building, the senior center, and all the other borough properties, we have an obligation to maintain them. So if there is a fire inspection that needs to happen, we have to be able to get in. If there is a repair that has to happen, we have to get in. But at the same token, the borough, and I don't believe we'll ever kick somebody out, as we don't do with the basketball that goes on, when we know there's going to be a rabies clinic. We know that many months in advance. So these are only hypotheticals that I think Mr. Long wanted to make it clear that the borough has a vested interest in this building, not only to keep the scouting troops in there, which they've, thousands of scouts have gone through our program. We want to retain them, not lose them, but at the same time protect their safety, protect the asset of the borough. But there is that opportunity where that building is a public building at that point. So if there is some need or some reason, we would utilize. The example that he gives, I think, is a legitimate emergency. Say we did have to take care of the people in this town. It is a building that we could utilize. And I think that helps us make this decision for this property so that we could utilize it for some type of event or some kind of other organization that may need space for a particular time. I mean, yeah.
And who would make that determination? Would that go before council? Would it be? Okay. I just feel that everyone in town, the residents, I feel that they need to know why this is happening. And you made a good, and you explained it very well. So
it'll fall apart. We need to be the organization that is the continuity of this organization. They do not have the resources to maintain this building. And if anybody's been at the building, you can see that it's starting to deteriorate to a point where it won't be usable. So if we don't step in at this point, we're going to lose this asset. And this town's lost enough assets because they were deteriorated too far. But I think this group and all of us that have been on council for these many years now have started to invest back in the community. I think this is a very good example of us stepping in and saving something.
I think it is too, Mayor.
Okay. So just once again, the use of this building is primarily for the scouts. But as any organization, we all know organizations go up and down in their membership, they go up and down in their uses. We just have to be as supportive as we can and support any other organization. Once again, so if there was a reason to utilize that building where we, say we did have some type of function. I mean, we all remember, I wasn't there, but many of you remember that voting used to happen in this building, right? Dances at that building. So there's opportunities for us once again, but we have to make it safe. That's our first priority, is to make this building safe for the public. So we'll do first reading at the council meeting, and I hope everyone's happy about this. If you recall, in our bond ordinance, there is some monies for buildings and grounds, and we all had agreed, amongst many other things, fixing roofs and stuff like that, that we intended to put some money into this building to get it back up to useful life. Okay? Any other questions? Okay.
No, I thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Resolution authorizing property maintenance liens. I think these are just typical grass cutting and the like. Correct, Ms. Pinto?
Yes, it's actually the hotel.
Oh, it's the hotel.
Just one. And above that, the 2009 is actually the public hearing for the police.
Do I have the wrong one in front of me?
Yeah, you were talking about number 3 on the list.
Oh,
First one is that police ordinance that we adopted regarding what was it, personal care?
oh, okay, that's just the public
Officer
hearing.
and family wellness.
All right, I apologize. So that would be the public hearing for the ordinance that was already adopted, or already introduced at the last meeting. And then I'm sorry, I did jump to the scout bill. Resolution of property maintenance liens. Let me give everybody just a quick update on La Quinta. We are doing our best to try to get that building to become less of a nuisance to the borough, to get it better maintained, once again, our priority is public safety, to get the electric, water, fire suppression system, fire alarm system, all those systems back up and running, so that our number one priority is to protect the public safety and our own employees who may have to go into that building if, God forbid, there was some incident. So we are trying to secure it, we are trying to maintain it and protect it. We are in contact with the owner. I don't know if I have any report. I don't know if Mr. Kearney's on there, if he knows anything, or Mr. Wozok knows if any work has been done on the building to get the electric turned back on again. But hopefully they are moving forward. We did give them an extension through code enforcement to try to get the building at least somewhat in the right direction before August 1st.
And all the vehicles that are in the parking lot, they are.
So what the owner did is he subleased the property to a Amazon distribution company. And that is not a permitted use in the borough. However, if we can get them to maintain the building, we can possibly give them some type of an exemption or a dispensation for a period of time to try to coerce them and help them to get the building up and running. So the money that they're bringing in from that rental, they can invest back into the property and get it secure. There's other issues with the building. Number one issue has to be public safety to get the building safe. So we're hoping to get something resolved by August. If not, we're going to have to take more action.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have something else you talked about. Yes.
Nick, who owns the building anyway? Is it La Quinta or a franchise or?
La Quinta was just,
HC Runnemede.
yeah, it's a development company, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Out of Indianapolis, correct, Ms. Pinto?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We have something we talked about a while ago, and I apologize I didn't get a chance to talk to Mr. Neary before this, but through Sustainable, one of the things we've been trying to do is a energy aggregation program where the town would together as a group purchase electricity. It has worked well in other municipalities. We would be new to this, but other towns have done this for years. So they've kind of gone through the process. The company that would like to do, well, it's not, we wouldn't be actually awarding the contract to anybody. This ordinance would only simply allow us to take the first step. The law says from the state that we have to adopt this ordinance to allow for a evaluation of this energy aggregation first. So I'm hoping everyone will at least take that first step with us so that we all agree to at least look at it, see if it would work for our community. Then if we decide as a group that it works for us, bring in a private company that actually does that gets the numbers for us. So to give you an example, one of the communities that's done very well with it is Summerdale. And their experience is about 4 years. They experience anywhere from a 5 to 10% decrease in electric costs. It may not sound like a lot, but if we can save our residents a couple dollars every month, it can help offset other costs. So it's something we should definitely look at. I will say that when I went on a meeting like this, one of the questions that came up was, is it always cheaper? And it isn't always cheaper. And so if the rate does not come in cheaper, the borough doesn't sign up. So that's the key. We would only sign up if it would save our residents money. If it doesn't save their money, we wouldn't sign up for it. It's somewhat complex in the sense that they, bid in the electric community. I will say, one of the advantages, us coming in a little bit later, is other municipalities have already started this. So we would kind of be jumping on with them. So it would make our buying power larger. So we would join up with Somerdale and Gloucester Township and, even I think Waterford was one of them. So some of the bigger towns and some of the smaller towns, if we all come together, it helps with our pricing. There are some details in it that we have to really learn a little bit more. And I think the best way to do that is after we do this preliminary assessment, we allow the company to come in and then explain to us in more detail if it's something we should pursue. And then we'll just take it from there. If we pursue it, then the process keeps going and we can see if the numbers work for our residents. But I think we have an obligation to at least look at it. Mr. Ranieri.
Thanks, Nick. I just wanted to add that that program would also be the next step towards our silver, qualifying for our silver certificate for Green and Sustainable program. We're silver right now, we're bronze right now, and there's quite a bit of points for that action. And my next question is it a year? Did you say 1 year? If after a year we're not satisfied, we can cut out of that program? I know we'll discuss further, but that would be...
Well, I don't want to act like a professional in this one. I only know what I can remember from the meeting was we make an offer on the electric, and it's usually between 12 months and 18 months. It's usually sort of short term, and it locks in the price to help to save money. People in the community are automatically given that rate, but if they decide they don't want it, they can opt out. So, and it's a very simple process. So if they don't like the rate,
saving money is a good thing. Yeah.
So you would drop out of PSE&G?
No, that's where the complexity gets. PSE&G still provides the service, but because of deregulation, PSE&G is really only responsible for the transmission of the electricity. The actual supply of the electricity is sold on the marketplace, and that electricity through the grid comes from all over the place. So what these companies do is they purchase it, they buy it ahead of time, they leverage it. I think Mr. Shapiro, he must understand it better than me. I see him shaking his head. So if I'm saying it right, Rich, let me know if I'm not saying anything right. But there is advantages, there's potential advantages, but once again, we allow the residents the ability to not sign up, to, so what I found out is if they're say they're in a budget, they want their electric bill to be the same every month. That won't work because the idea is a budget, your flat amount of money. When you're buying the electricity, you're paying that rate. So people on budgets wouldn't be able to do this. People who don't want to sign up can opt out. People who do it for a month don't like the savings. Something bothers them. They can opt out. Then once the period of time ends, once again, all the communities go out for bid. If we don't like the number, we don't have to do it again. So Somerdale gave an example where I think they're on their third or fourth time, but one time they went out and the rate was high. So think of it as driving down the road, seeing gas prices, and you see a number you don't like, you go to the next gas station. So I think that's an easy way to kind of see how you're buying this commodity.
Again, we were to do. Go ahead, Patty.
I just was wondering, how does it affect, or does it affect people that have solar energy? Does it affect
Well, I have solar, and there are times when I don't produce enough energy that I have to buy it, and it would be through this program. And I think that if we decide to go ahead and do this, and it is something we should consider, I agree with you, Mayor, it's a great opportunity. I used to sell energy. I used to sell electric and gas, and I would save companies thousands of dollars a month, and I would get a percentage of those fees. So there is some truth behind this, and I do believe that everybody will be, all of our residents will be, they all come into it. And like the mayor said, if you don't want to be part of it, you can opt out at any time and go with your own provider. But you're automatically, as a resident of Runnemede, you're in this program, right? If we go with it, is that right, Mayor?
Yes. So everyone's automatically in it, unless they're excluded for some reason. And then, like if they have a budget, it was what they explained to me, because that person's basically locked in. And they can make their own evaluation, and the opt-out process, even though people get a little bit nervous about the fact that they're automatically put into something. From what I understand, the opt-out process is extremely simple. And the opt-back in is extremely simple. So it's, you can go in and out as you desire. I mean, to me, I did try it one time years ago for my business, and I found that one time I did really well, and one time I didn't. So when the numbers didn't look good, I left. So it's definitely something, it's about, once again, giving people opportunities and choices.
Options.
Options.
Who doesn't feel tied to their utility company? Who doesn't get frustrated? And other options, good thing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Nick.
We have a resolution also for Municipal Alliance. Just so everyone knows, Municipal Alliance monies are tied to court fees that are collected for certain type of activities. From what I understand, obviously court's really down, the numbers are down. So right now, I believe we're going to get a much lower amount this year, which basically is going to in turn change some of the programs that we provide. But I don't believe it's going to hurt us terribly because a lot of the programs we provide go through the schools and they're not open. But I still think we have an obligation to spend this money as wisely as possible. Mr. Anderson, I think I said it correctly that the money's a lot lower. I think you told me we'd gotten close to 12 or 13,000 last year, and this amount's only about 3,300.
Yeah, basically it's about 25% of what you got in the past.
Yes. So definitely a big difference in how we're going to utilize that money this year. A resolution regarding a fence issue. One thing that we all hear problems about our ordinances and things like that. This is not something we should do that often, as the lawyer, Mr. Long, will clarify, is there's times where the law is not really clear. And every once in a while, we should step in to either clarify the law or to make a decision. And we've done that before. And in this particular case, the word that it's right from our ordinance is when it becomes an undue hardship on someone. So, and the public safety is maybe at risk. So in this particular case, we're dealing with a property owner who has a fence that protects the public from falling into the lake, basically. This is the corner of Lakeview and Singley. The fence was pre-existing, the fence was deteriorating, the homeowner put the fence up without a permit. He is and will be required to get a permit. However, our ordinance says that when you're on a corner, you have to have, you're on a corner property, you have 2 front yards. In this particular case, there is no front yard because it's a lake. So, and there is a public safety issue. So to make this happen quickly and get the fence repaired and, there'll be no logical reason to take this fence down other than it would take away public safety. So because I give a lot of credit to our code enforcement and zoning officer, he does read the law as it is written. This is an example where there's no gray here, and we can make this determination. I believe council can see that this particular is something that we don't need to force somebody to go get a variance, because you couldn't even deny the person a variance. If you denied it, you'd have a public safety issue. But it's not something we want to do that often. Just like we don't want to change the ordinances all the time. We've done it sometimes to make them fairer and better. But every ordinance should not be changed just because there's one particular instance that happens. We have to look at the problems and then make a determination. Does anybody have any questions on this one?
Can't you just, extenuating circumstances, you have to, change up?
Well, I would like to see our code enforcement and zoning sometimes take more latitude. But that gets a little precarious also, right? Because depending on who that person's doing the job, people have to be treated fairly, and it's tough to, you got to try to treat everybody fairly. So we can step in, we can evaluate something and make a determination. We have a resolution transferring abandoned escrow funds to the general fund. Most of you should know about this one. This is just some housekeeping that in these times where we're making sure that we have money for the borough to pay its bills. This is something that was long overdue. We've got basically an escrow account that's been around for decades, and we're going to move the money from the escrow account into the general fund, with the logic that if for any reason those funds do need to be dispersed, we still have the ability to make that payment. But at this point, we're just going to move the money from one account to another. It'll go into our surplus, and eventually we could use it if we need it, or once again, if there's any reason that we do have to pay for something or reimburse something, we can do that. The resolution rescinding a liquor license transfer. This was for the vault. The vault was going to be sold. The gentleman who was going to purchase it started the process with the Alcohol Beverage Commission. He started the process and applied. He was not granted the transfer. Is that correct, Ms. Pinto?
Well, we granted him the transfer on the condition that he provided the sales tax clearance certificate for the transfer. That was back in January. He never provided the transfer certificate and the tax sale clearance certificate. So the transfer can't go forward, and for whatever reason, I've called him numerous times. He has not provided this.
So what
I don't know what else to tell you other than this is sitting here, and I spoke to Dan about it. Dan, well, what's your opinion on this? I think it should be rescinded.
I think I'm with you. We talked about that.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to rescind it. If for some reason it comes back up again, the gentleman knows the process about how he's got to go through the process of getting a clearance certificate and every other obligation he has. So at this point, instead of leaving this sitting open, we're going to close it, and then we'll just have to reapply. Was there any cost to him for applying?
Yes, a $200 check was sent to the state as part of the process. The initial application goes to the state before we approve it. They point out anything that they don't like and would like fixed. And also he paid us $250. That's the transfer fee.
Well, that's the cost for the application. He didn't follow, so we'll just cancel this, and he'll have to come back and reapply. Discussion of the janitor hire. So Mr. Wozok has an applicant that he has brought on board. What we can do is he can put him formally on for the council meeting. We'll retro his date of hire, and that should be fine. Harry, did you want to add anything to that?
Not at this time, other than seems like a great candidate so far. What he's been doing for the day and a half that I know that he's working. Unfortunately, I didn't get a report today with leaving early, but Hank gave me a good report yesterday, and we're looking for a better transition here and outlook.
Who is it?
Jacob Merlick, his application was forwarded to everybody last week. Joyce, you had it. I'll make sure you get recopied it tomorrow with it. He's an applicant that turned in an application, and we interviewed him, and seems to meet all the requirements that we were looking for.
That sounds good.
So Harry, how's your tooth?
It's gone.
So, in case anyone didn't know, Harry's had some tooth problems, and I think he decided to admit the tooth.
Mayor?
That's choice.
I also was given the form for Christina Conroy, the new treasurer.
Yes.
So
So
that'll go with too, I assume.
he can talk a little bit about that, but we probably, so I guess that's a good question. Do we do the appointment at the next meeting for a September start, or do the appointment in September? Dan, the question is, a new hire that's not starting until September, should we appoint them at the August meeting to work in September, or wait till the September meeting and just backdate?
Insurance. The problem is going to be insurance, because they look at the appointment date to count the 60 days. So technically, she's not entitled to insurance 60 days after she starts.
So you would rather a later appointment date, right?
Yeah, unless I can talk to them and see if it's okay.
Right, just explain the situation and just, I would rather do it in August.
Yeah, because that's what they
Because
said.
I'd much rather do an appointment prospectively than to do something after the fact and then backdate it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll call them.
But the insurance issue is, I think, critical here.
Well, I will say this, I do not believe the applicant is going to take our insurance. Does that make a difference?
That's right, I remember that.
No insurance?
Potentially.
Well, she'll be entitled to the opt-out.
Right.
Entitled to the opt-out, correct. So you'd rather us do it at the August meeting with a date of starting in September?
I would. All things equal, I would.
Okay, so Mr. Anderson, if you could just move that on to Joyce, so we'll put her on as a resolution.
I have.
Oh, you do
That
have?
one I
Okay. Okay. Discussion of Mel and JIF policies and employee handbook. So I was informed today that Ms. Pinto and Mr. Anderson are going to take the lead on this, and they're going to review all 150 pages.
And you're right, yeah.
So I make it that. So Miss Kelly knows. So basically, our insurance company has provided us with a new updated manual and personal handbook. What this will do is this will now, I think what we'll do is we'll rescind the current one and then adopt this one. But we do have an obligation, myself and all members of council, and the department heads, and I actually don't even have department heads and even borough employees, to review this policy prior to us adopting it. The reason I point that out is the borough has a long history of failing to adopt policies because they, it's the right word, kowtow to the employees and give in and not adopt them. And Joyce is laughing. But there are sometimes problems with the policies. So before we adopt it, we got to do a good job of making sure the language doesn't, contractual employees, they have certain rights that are different than the policy. Statutory employees have different rights that the policy may have. Remember, this is one policy that's encumbering all of our employees. And we hate to say it, some employees are treated differently than others because of their positions or their employment contracts. So what we'll do is we were able to get the last one done last year. We knew this new one was coming. We'll do it. We have till, and I believe Eleanor said we have till June of next year, but we're not going to wait that long. We're going to get it done sooner and get everybody to look at it, and we'll get this thing adopted. I'd like to see this thing adopted by January so that...
Mayor, I have a question. Would you like me to send this to any of the shop stewards?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, because what that'll do for us is if shop stewards, the union representation, get a chance to look at it, if they do have a concern, I think we need to hear it. We need to know if there's something that conflicts with an agreement. But what we did last time, if everyone recalls, we did have assistance from the police union actually stepped up and wrote a supplemental attachment to the policy, which all the other unions agreed to, which basically said that anything that was contractual that conflicted with the policy, the contract superseded the policy. Does that make sense to everybody? That worked. I think Mr. Long probably didn't like that I did that. When I engaged the police union to write the policy.
We had a conversation on that, but I've really given up, and I know when I can, convince you of things, and other times I just have to sit here and wave the white flag and live to fight another day. And that was one that no matter what I said or did, you were going to do what you wanted to do. And hey, here we are.
Well, my goal for everyone, once again, was to have a policy that was in place. We had employees that were not willing to agree to sign the policy, and that was going to cause confrontation with them. And
that was because of the wording of the the blurb at the end.
Well, let's not get into all that right now in this forum.
It wasn't because.
I get it. I understand.
I do have one question, Mayor. Last year, when Jim did the policy book, did he use the policy book specifically for civil service town as his template?
I do believe he did, only because it was given to us by the GIF. However,
I didn't know whether he did or not.
Not positive, but I know you sent it out to all of us, the old policy plus the new policy. We do know that this current policy is more specific to civil service communities.
Correct, and actually, there were two to choose from. There were two different policy books to choose from on the Mel website. One for civil service towns and one for non-civil service.
Well, we'll make sure it's for a civil service community. Discussion of new police and public works vehicles. No one from the police is on here. Mr. Wozon, do you at least want to let us know a little bit about the purchase for the public works department and remind us?
Yeah, we have, part of the vehicle maintenance is we have one new pickup truck being purchased under state contract. We have two vehicles being purchased through Stone Harbor through shared service, one being a trash truck, one being a utility truck. And then other funds of that is for the 32-yard trash truck to go and get overhauled. So we can get another 10 to 15 years out of that truck.
Okay, great. And I believe the police vehicles are two hybrid Explorers. The idea here is like two at once. Hybrids will be much more energy efficient for the police activities, and then they would forego a purchase next year. We've talked about more than likely that there's an ambulance that has to be replaced, so that'll free up funds next year for a replacement of the ambulance. So police will do two this year, and we'll go back to probably just one police vehicle or two police vehicles a year. You know, keep maintaining them.
The police vehicles are both under state contract.
They're all under state contract, right?
Everywhere for it.
Okay.
And I just want to add that the hybrid vehicles, we also gain sustainable points for our Green is Sustainable program, and they mean a lot. So it's definitely moving in the right direction. I'm happy about that.
Great. And John, I think you might have saw that email about the charging station that they extended a period of time. I think they honestly realized we couldn't get anything done during the time. So to remind everybody, John was able to get us a grant for electric vehicle charging station, correct? So we just have to get that moving again once we hopefully get back to business a little bit.
Once we come out, once we get moving, right?
Yes.
I'm still waiting.
Still waiting. Okay, before we go to the rest of the agenda, we'll go around the room for the committees and the department heads. Ms. Passio, do you have stuff to report?
Well, I just want to report that our news book, that's it, that's the only look you get. Hopefully it'll be out the end of this week. It's at the mail house. From the mail house, they bring it to the post office, and it's at their discretion. They've got like 5 days to do all of this. So I am not micromanaging it, but I have Larry doing that. So I'm hoping, I can't wait till it goes into every home. It will be in the mail, so just look for it. And let me know when you start getting it. And as far as the other streets, Larry's going to find out for me if they're going to deliver. And if not, Mayor, time for delivery. Get the pony out. Get the pony out for Pony Express. So, you know, like I said, there is a contest in it. So, and the word search is great. I've been doing it. So, I enjoy it. And a lot of information, a lot of good information. And that's about it. The rest is progress. National Night Out, I know, has been, they moved it to October, which I think was a great idea. And so it'll be the first Tuesday in October. And with that, I say progress. Oh, Harry and I, we were discussing, and then I kind of was talking to John about it, about, I don't know what you guys all think, about maybe having, if we can, have a movie night. You know, like a little old drive-in. So Harry is looking into a nice movie screen. I think we have all the other equipment. I don't know how you feel about that, Mayor. But,
idea if it's not 100 degrees out.
well.
You got air?
Oh, you're going to sit in your car in air conditioning, you know, so, and it'll be at night. So we'll see. We're just trying to think of some things to.
It'd be great to take the grandkids to.
Yeah, I asked my daughter what movie she would like to see first.
Okay.
She said Beauty and the Beast. So anyway, we're trying to work on something. So we'll see.
Okay, great.
That's about it. Progress.
Okay.
Thank you, Patty.
Okay, Miss Kelly, are you available? I see you in and out, so I'm not sure. You have something to report?
Oh,
Get on mute. No, Eleanor.
She's all over.
Eleanor, unmute first.
I'm trying to unmute her and I can't. Won't let me. She has to unmute herself.
I'm gonna bring Eleanor. Oh, there she is.
Oh, there she is.
Mhm. Mhm.
We can nod our head and hear her, pretend we're hearing. Eleanor, we don't hear you again. Sorry, we had you and then we lost you.
Maybe she can submit the report in writing. We'll just circulate it to council and make it part of the minutes.
I'm fine with that. Eleanor, if you want to try to get on, maybe log off and log back on again. And if you get on, just let us know that you're on. But we do have an option of doing it by a written report where you could call one of us. Okay, well then we'll move on to Mr. Farrell.
Hi, thank you, Mayor. Hi, everyone. I was going to talk about the Scout building, but you've already spoke about it. And also Shropshire, nothing to report there on the upgrades. Hopefully by the time I'm done, council will hear something back from them. But it just seems like they never come back at us.
Bob, do you have any update on Rowan and Highland, when that paving's going to happen? I saw that's looking good.
No, I don't. I was going to say it's the curbs are in, sidewalks are in, and just waiting for the overlay and the milling. So, Mark, do you have anything on that?
Early August is what I've been told. Arawak is their paving sub, and I talked to the project superintendent from Arawak, and they are on their schedule for early August.
It looks good. I mean, they've been doing some nice work there. Also, Heritage, I talked to Mark today, and the field work's been completed. It's been completed for a while. Survey's complete, and Bach Associates are just they prepared a concept sketch, and we're just waiting on that also, right, Mark? Yes. The sewer extension project, I'm going to let Mark talk about that a little later. I have a question, Mayor. PSE&G, I've seen, they're giving grants for freezers, things along that line, lighting and all. Has anybody looked into that? LED lighting around town, they'll do 70%.
So if you're talking about for the Borough, a gentleman did meet with Mr. Wozong, and I showed up a little late. It was a preliminary meeting where PSE&G was evaluating that the borough's buildings were able to take advantage of that. So yes, we are looking at it. I think there'll be a more formal walk through the whole building and look at it. So yeah, now are you talking about for residents too, or are you just talking about for the borough building?
It's not just for the borough. I think what they pay 70, we pay 30.
Correct.
Yeah, Joyce had sent that email to all of us several times.
Right.
And
Exactly.
be able to set up the gentleman to come in the one day.
And he did come in, and today I sent him all the plans that were sent from Bach, the blueprints of our building, That was sent to him, and also all the applications for our buildings and the electric bills went out today.
Great.
That's what they need in order to start the process.
Also, the last thing is pertaining the mail. Is anybody not getting mail? I was talking to somebody and they said that they don't have to deliver to your house every day. So I've been getting mail like every 3 or 4 days.
Well, I don't know. I don't get much mail anymore. They are stepping back somewhat, probably with COVID and the budget cuts, but, there's not much mail going around anymore.
Bob, I get regular mail, and I think that I've had it every day. Might have missed a day or two, but...
Carrington, we're getting people, we go out and look at each other and they keep asking if anybody got mail. So I don't know what that's all about, but I was just wondering if anybody else was going through that. All the rest is progress.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
You know what I will say about mail, it's funny you bring it up, because at my office on the Blackbird Pike, the mailman used to come at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, now he's showing up at 10. So I don't know, Bob, if something is changing.
Yeah, we get it like 6:30 at night.
Really?
6:30. Yeah, late.
So as you know, my wife likes to procrastinate, so she's missed the mailman twice now in the past 2 days, because he showed up 4 hours earlier than he normally does.
Well, my mail has changed, my schedule has changed. I get it early in the morning now, like 10 o'clock. We used to get it like 3 or 4. All the time since we've been here for 30 years. Now all of a sudden it's changed, but that's all right. We don't get much.
Okay. All right, well then, we'll go right to you, Mr. Lovenstein. Did you have anything to report?
Just mostly progress, but when Harry's talked to me about the new hire with the janitor position, the ongoing cycle, hopefully it's not a cycle anymore for a little while. Also, as you and I talked the other day, Mayor, we had some residents that want us to take down trees in our park areas that are bordering their properties, and our stance is that if it is not an imminent hazard, it's in the woods, we leave it alone. And that's the stance that the borough is taking with trees. So if anyone talks to anyone and wants a tree taken down that is outside their fence and on borough property, if it's not leaning against their fence or imminent danger to their house, we will do nothing with it. It is the woods, trees fall in the woods. And I did notice down on Schubert, Bob, a lot of repaving. I don't know what's going on with these repaving, with the water company, the gas company. Here, the county spends all the money on Schubert to get it redone, and now it's being redone again, I think, for the 3rd time since the county has done it. But that's what people do, or the businesses do when they disturb the underground, and they have to repave it. I do know Schubert is a complete mess. They just did a sloppy job of repaving. When they repaved, the tire marks from the tar are all over the rest of the road. It just looks really, really sloppy. Mark, I don't know if we can do anything about that. If you drive down Schubert Avenue, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it does reflect on us. So I don't know if you can talk with Chris, Eden, or whatever. All the rest is progress. Harry can talk more about public works. I have not had a lot of contact with him due to COVID, but he can talk more than the rest is progress for me.
Okay, hey, Ms. Pinto, are you able, I see Eleanor's trying to get back on. Are you able to log off the ones that she's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times?
And I know, but
that'll help her?
let me try the earlier ones and see if I can.
Does everybody see Eleanor on there 6 times?
Yes.
Okay.
Just one picture, and then the rest are just her name.
But if we could close that, maybe that'll help her. All right, well, we're going to continue if Eleanor gets on. We're going to go to Mr. Wozok now so he can follow what Mr. Lovenstein just said. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on here?
No, why don't we take her out?
We got a lot of we're done from the storm cleanup pretty much. With all the chipping and so forth, our chipper did go down, and we had to take that up to Modern in Bristol to get the auto drive replaced in it. Like I said, we did a lot of chipping in 6 weeks of time. itself. We still have a few residents that are still cutting trees down. We actually had a couple that were still tangled in wires, the end of pine and so forth. But we're going around, we're diligently taking care of it. Grass is being cut, maintaining that way, and hopefully next week we get back more and more of a schedule to start getting some potholes taken care of throughout town. We got a couple of cuts we have to take care of, so we're working on that itself. Most of it is all progress, trying to take care of all the other stuff going on. Mayor, I don't know if you need to bring up tonight Chislehurst for next week in case something, paperwork comes through.
Yeah, let me bring that up. Were you able to turn the baseball fields?
Yes.
Yeah,
Baseball field they were done today with the new machine we had. As I was leaving, and with that, they're set up to be great tomorrow.
Rich, I forgot you, so that's why I brought it up. I'm looking right at you. So, we'll let you get back on there, Rich, but I wanted to make sure, I was thinking about Harry with the fields. Did you have anything else, Harry? That was it?
Yeah, with that, Mr. Shapiro, we have the one net go up down at the Green Acres, so we'll have all the nets up down at Green Acres, so that will be accomplished this week also.
We can always come back to you. Rich, I'm so sorry. Your face moved in front of me now. So I didn't mean to take your thunder.
That's all right.
But I think you're back to the fields. That's why I wanted to say something that I forgot. So, Mr. Shapiro.
Right now, yeah, the fields are looking good. Of course, maintaining them. I had a little mess and talked to Harry, emailed him about the dog park because I heard it was, and then he said we already did it, so they're on the ball with that. Talking to softball and baseball, they're looking into the fall right now, but with everything going on, they're still not sure how soccer going to work, how's fall softball and fall baseball going to work. So everything's still on the air, like a wait and see. You know, I did tell soccer, the travel programs to put in requests for the fields at Green Acres to do it. I think it goes to you, George, right?
What?
The request for fields at Green Acres goes through you, right?
For the soccer field?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just block off. Usually the schools are going to use it, correct?
Yeah, schools and RYA.
They're going to use it. You know, there's a tournament coming up for that. Are you guys aware of a tournament that Ryan, the one that from Belmar sent the information in? Baseball tournament, they have it every year in August. Harry, are you aware of that?
Are they still having it?
Negative.
Yes.
In Belmar?
No, they're from Belmar.
I believe they're not.
I'll have to send this to you today. They sent me an insurance form, but it's really not the insurance form that I normally get the correct one. Yeah, it's coming up in the next few weeks. They have that it's on a Saturday morning, I think.
The only one I know about that has tournaments for, is it for certain age groups?
No, it's to benefit, it's like the Ryan something or other foundation.
I don't know.
I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, send it to me because I can't think of it, but.
Yeah, make sure the field's being used by anybody else on that day, though, Rich. We got to make sure that if they're having that fundraiser, we don't have anything else going on. I know there's
It's
which field, like Green
somebody from Belmar, a councilman sent it to me.
It's the Babe Ruth baseball.
Okay.
The big field.
Yes. The big field, yeah, then you gotta let me know because I know the two teams, Jesse and another team, they use them on the weekend. So you gotta let me know which day.
Okay. All right.
And I'll call, I think.
As far as sports, all the organizations are suffering big shortages for officials and umpires, referees. I saw Richie over the weekend. As a matter of fact, I had the umpire one of the games that his daughter was in. She did very well, Richie, by the way. But anyway, the parents and the spectators and the coaches are not behaving in COVID rules. You know, the I could have thrown out every single coach that I saw that day. So I don't know how long sports is going to be around. I think it's going to blow up again, and I think we're going to be shut down again as far as sports. As far as Soccer Association for high school, we're missing some, statewide, we're missing some 325 referees. That's a big chunk. Softball, the same thing, and we shall see what happens. But, we'll keep on cutting the fields, keep on the facilities looking nice like Harry always does with his crew, but it's not looking good. I was ready to burst a bubble on Saturday and Sunday. That's as far as sports from me, and my umpiring and refereeing career is over.
Yeah, and I see it while I'm coaching and as a fan, it's tough.
Do you have anything
So
else? Anything?
Other than that, progress.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see, who did I go to? Mr. Ranieri, you want to say something? I'm sorry, the screens jump all over the place. You gotta unmute yourself, John. Unmute.
Where is he now? Oh, there he is.
Unmute, John.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I got you
No
now.
problem, Mayor. I enjoy listening to you. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I'd like to just, since we're talking about parks and recs, I sent an email to, I think, Richie and Nick, possibly somebody else, I don't know, about some outdoor playground equipment. Did you guys get that email from me? That was forwarded to me from one of our officers, Matt Woolen, with an idea, and I think it's a great idea. Everything's going to be outdoors now. If you want to be a successful restaurant, you're going to have a large outdoor. Everybody wants to get outdoors. It's healthier. We have a great park at Green Acres, and I think that they have treadmills. They have those walking, exercising machines outdoors. And we may consider either having an area for some outdoor activities where you can work out, be in the sun, and also virus-free. And I think that we should consider, it wouldn't be this year, it could be 2021 because our budget's already set. Maybe we can get a grant for this. Rich, maybe we could talk about later, considering, we had the mile track, different locations, putting a piece here, a piece there, out looking at the water. I'm not sure our liabilities would be, but with the way things have been, it would be great to continue to bring great things to this town. So I just want to start with that. And everything else we talked about. Greg has been interviewing candidates for the treasurer position, and the finance committee got a chance to sit down with one of the top picks, and we made her an offer, and she accepted it. I think that you already know that. And she looks like a great pick. She comes with 16 years experience from a local borough, and that shows loyalty. And she told me she's willing to put in another 5 years possibly. So, we'll get to keep this employee for a while. I'm looking forward to getting her in. She's going to make a difference in our town. Greg's also working on getting our next finance meeting together. Our last meeting was all about revenue, and it was very eye-opening and helpful. So we're going to have our next meeting all about our expenditures and how each department is working with their budget. Do we have extra money? Should we slow it down, speed it up, things like that? And I'll get a date out to everybody with our next meeting for the finance meeting. And the last thing I'd like to talk about, I'd like to thank the mayor for signing that sustainable application so quickly. I appreciate that. And I want to thank Harry for bringing it to my attention. The Green and Sustainable program, it's been on hold, hasn't been on my radar lately, but we do have to get back to getting our town to become a leading town and get active and get things done. So there's an opportunity. The mayor and Harry both want to move forward, and I begrudgingly started to pay attention because I still have a bit of a sore spot from the Heart and Soul program that I put so much energy into. I'm not even over that defeat yet. But there's a program out there from the Green and Sustainable program. They're going to be picking 4 candidates, And we're going to be one of them. I put together an application only because I have very limited time. I'm just going, Mayor, did you look at my application at all? Did you get a chance to see the questions and answers?
I just, is that the one I only signed it? I didn't really get a chance.
Okay, I gave you a copy of it, some of my answers about why we're a good candidate. Let me explain to you what we're getting involved in. It's a sustainable program. It's called the PI program, and it stands for, it's an acronym for Planning, Information, and Town Engagement. Basically, it's about how to deal with our town, how to communicate to our town in a better way as we move forward with the coronavirus and dealing with it and having to operate like this with our Zoom meetings and things. It's about technical, the ability to get to our people through media, through IT information, different means of, Facebook, Twitter, all the things that we're really not up on. We're a small town. We don't have anybody on our payroll to take care of promoting our events. We're moving in that direction. Remember the universal calendar? These things are all going to come into play. And this is a chance to be mentored by some sustainable leaders to help us get to where we need to be in an easier fashion and just be led, being led in the right direction. There's a lot of good benefits that are going to come from the PI program. I'm just getting involved. I'm almost done the application. I expect to send it in on this weekend. We have till the 9th. I may ask somebody to proofread it. I'm not sure. But it's something we can look forward to winning and getting an opportunity to help our communication throughout the town. I think it'll be great for us. And the rest is progress. Any questions?
John.
You're
welcome. Sorry we're jumping around a little bit, but let's bounce back to Mr. Bayshore. I'm going by what I see on my screen, so sorry about that, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I submitted my report in writing yesterday, just to go over a few highlights that Bob hasn't touched on. We submitted the DOT application for the fiscal year 2021 project, and we forwarded the 3 copies of the resolution to make the application complete. We also forwarded a proposal to the borough for locating the wetlands at Public Works. In case you're looking to expand that area, we have to plan ahead. And the north and south row end, as Bob had talked about, the concrete flat work's done, and we're looking to pave in early August, as I mentioned before. The 9th Avenue redevelopment planning, I've been waiting to not be able to have the planning board meeting in person, but that hasn't been able to happen. So it's my understanding they're going to do a virtual planning board meeting in August to talk about the redevelopment plan. I believe that's this couple Wednesdays from now, if I understand correctly. The sewer extension project on Davis Road and the 3 roads on Sunset, Sunnybrook, and Evergreen, we're in the early planning stages. We have to work out some easements with utility companies and residents because we can't do all the infrastructure within the borough right away. So we're in the preliminary stages of working out some of the easements in that regard. The fiscal year 2019 DOT project, we're still trying to close that out. There's one punch list item we're waiting for the contractor to address, and his paving subcontractor is going to fix that when they're out to do the paving on the other program, on the other road program. And the last 2 things are the South Jersey Gas is in town, as you know, doing pavement restorations and whatnot. We are inspecting their work. Craig mentioned Schubert Avenue. That is a county road. We have not been inspecting their work on that because it's not part of the borough's road opening permit process. But I can put a call into South Jersey Gas, let them know that the borough's not happy with the pavement restoration that's going on. But that is a county road that we haven't been inspecting. And that's my report, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Mark.
I do have one. Just a clarification for everyone on the sewer extensions. It's also, the second part of the sewer extensions is actually a road program because it will repave Davis Sunnybrook, Sunset, and Evergreen. And one of the things that was brought to our attention was for public, once again, public safety issue, is the turnaround at the end of each street. So we're hoping to resolve that problem. If anybody knows those streets at all, Public Works, when they drive a trash truck down there, they're not able to turn around easily. The fire truck cannot turn around. The ambulance has difficulty. So one of the goals is, with this road program, it's also part of this, is to fix that. Don't know if anybody ever gets any complaints about this or anything like that, but it's definitely something that was brought to the attention, and it's part of this easement process. When Mark said easement, there is some issues to try to make that more of a turnaround now. But other than that, was there anything else for Mark? Does anybody have any other questions for Mark?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go to, we'll do Mr. Long. He's usually easy.
Well, first of all, I resent the accusation. My items are what was discussed in the agenda of the meeting, so I like to get my things out of the way first, Mayor. So, with that said, progress.
Thank you. We also have Mr. Anderson on the phone, on the line. We don't have your picture, but Greg, did you have anything you want to make sure we understand?
Well, tomorrow our capital ordinance that we put in earlier this month is going to go out for funding. Hopefully we'll get a bid similar to what we got last time. However, due to the amount being small, I think it's going to be more towards the 2% number. It's just due to the small amount. The good news I have is in 34 days, I'm going to have help. I'm very positive about that. We can't wait. And as they say, there's progress.
Nice job, Greg. Nice job getting the applicant.
Thank you. And yes, I do want to say that too. I think by having the department heads do the legwork to interview, find the right person, I think it really makes a big difference. I think Greg did a great job finding the right person for our community.
Yeah.
If anybody needs to see the application, or talk to Greg about the qualities this person has, I think it was a great job. We do have Mr. Kearney on. Mike, did you want to say anything about what's going on down at the fire?
Nothing really important to report. We did get a chance last night with our monthly drill to check out the new access point at Green Acres for the boat. We were able to successfully put our boat in and out at high tide. I believe Highway's going to do a little bit more work just to make sure we have full access during low tide, but that's a work in progress. We were finally able to take advantage of it last night. And I do believe, I don't think Mrs. Kelly's on anymore. We're meeting with her and the rest of the committee on Thursday afternoon.
Great. So Mike, one quick question on that ramp. Did you find that when you say a little more, you're saying a little more stone down there? Did you need ability to turn around? What was your experience?
It's just the access from where they put the rock down to the actual water line at low tide. Timber Creek has a huge tide switch, so it goes out probably a good 30-40 feet difference from where the water level is at high tide to low tide. So it's just getting that little extra access. In emergency, we can get in. It's just making sure we get the truck and trailer back out of it safely without getting stuck in the mud.
Well, that's great. That's great news. Did I miss anybody? Mr. Wozunk, I'm sorry, I kind of jumped around. Did you have anything else you wanted to add about what's going on?
Yeah, the only question I had to come back to Mr. Shapiro and with Mr. Long, if he can follow up with this. The COVID.
Oh, Harry.
Have to bring you in on it.
I thought I was done.
Nah, come on.
Yeah, all right.
With the ball games and the people wanting to rent the field with this special event that's coming up and so forth, should we put the auspice on them to have a COVID plan and enact it so it releases the borough from, the governor's protocols and so forth, for them to be able to police their own parents and so forth?
So they have to have a plan.
Okay.
Definitely.
So that needs to make sure it goes out to them and so forth that way, because I know our basic notification signs aren't good enough for when they're coming in for their games and so forth, and they have to have a plan to self-police themselves.
Yeah, there needs to be like a designated person who's in charge of the protocols, what the, various things. I've seen 100 of them, but I can walk whoever through the process. That's no problem.
Yeah, unfortunately, Harry, all the organizations, they have guidelines, but whether they follow them or not, I don't know. So many people don't think this is serious, and they don't want to, but the
Right. So, and I get what Harry's saying. It's not so much whether they follow them, it's that it absolves us of liability if they have them at all. Because if you have them and don't follow them, that's on them. But if we allow them and they don't have it, then that's on us.
Yeah.
So that's an important distinction. Right.
Okay.
So I agree with Harry.
That's all I just wanted to get on record. And that, other than that, Mayor, everything else is progress. Except for reminder to you for Chislehurst. You were circling back to that.
Yeah, I got to get back to Chislehurst. So, as everyone recalls, Public Works had done a good job of using their extra abilities to help our neighboring communities. And if you remember, our back truck that we have went down to Chislehurst for the service agreement and cleaned out their stormwater pipes, which helped the borough of Chislehurst and helped us because we were compensated for that and made a difference. So what a phone call I believe Harry got today was that trash truck of theirs went down. So there's once again an opportunity for us, as long as we have the capabilities, and I believe Harry says yes, we're going to help them out a little bit with their picking up the trash. Harry, you want to elaborate that? I don't know if we can piggyback off the other shared service agreement that we have with them. We need something to say what the rate would be, and the compensation, reimburse us for our costs, and whatever. You've got to have some type of rate, correct, Harry?
Yeah, we have a rate, which I do believe it is on our invoice sheet for it, and then the labor of the gentleman that's going to go down. They're requesting one truck and one driver to help out tomorrow and possibly another day. Their truck has been down for over a week, and they haven't been able to get their trash or recycling picked up. So they're asked us to come in and give them a hand. The better day is for us tomorrow. We're actually hoping, since they're smaller than we are, we can actually accomplish both, pick up trash and recycling in one day with sending one truck down. They do the trash, they go dump, and then they come back, pick up the crew on the back and handle the recycling. So that's what we're hoping for. It might be a little bleed over to Thursday. Mr. Bach was involved in this, and like I said, Chislehurst is willing to pay us our going rate from port to port and everything else to cover us and cover the residents of Runnemede.
Okay, does it pay Harry to work a little overtime and get it all done in one day?
Yes, and that's what Chislehurst is also looking forward to, is to have our guys stay, just because of, the necessity of the health risk out there now with the heat and all this stuff sitting.
So the trash has been sitting for a period of time. That's what I'm saying. People expect to put their trash out that it gets picked up. So
yes,
and we can always dump the next day if it's recycling, correct? Do the trash first and then recycling the next.
Correct.
Day. And just
recycling we can hold, trash we have to dispose of.
We're taking our big large truck.
Yeah, we're going to take the 32, the green yard. It's the biggest one that we can take down there, and we'll help them out.
All right, great. So, Mr. Ranieri, hopefully you're happy again. This is our giving.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Harry. I appreciate that.
Just to remind everyone, John always says to me that Runnemede has to, help our neighbors, not receive all the time. So we're now a provider.
We're givers. We're not just takers. We're givers now. I like it.
Miss Kelly, I know you're watching and hearing us because we can see you. I apologize. I don't know what we can do. I do see that you're just to let you know, Eleanor, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times you're on the screen. So we got to figure out why once the meeting starts, we lose you, because we were obviously able to talk to you prior to the meeting starting. So we will ask that you at least submit your report in writing. I think that's the suggestion from Mr. Long. So that, and then at the council meeting, we just got to figure out what changes when we go to the formal meeting. Maybe it's the amount of people. All right, so we'll continue with the meeting. I didn't forget anyone, did I? No? Okay, let's do payment of bills. Would someone like to make a motion for the payment of bills?
I make a motion for payment of bills.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Farrell. All in favor? Or excuse me, roll call. No, roll call, I'm sorry.
Mrs. Passio,
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
Mr. Lovenstein,
Yes.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro,
Yes.
and Mrs.
Yes.
Kelly. I don't know, where is she there now?
Wave, Miss Kelly.
I don't even see her now. Her mic is on, but she's not.
I want to try to say something.
She said
Give a
yes.
thumbs up. Give a thumbs up.
There she is.
There she is.
Up.
6 ayes.
Thumbs
Okay,
up.
thumbs up. Okay.
Okay, the bills shall be paid. This portion of the meeting is good and welfare. I do see some people on the meeting. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please state your name and address.
Can I proceed?
Yes, you have to give your name and address.
Yes. My name is Lyle Bratton. I live at 43 East 8th Avenue. My first comment is in regards to the energy aggregation program that you spoke about earlier. I'm actually pretty familiar with this program. I've been working with Food and Water Action to promote this program in Collingswood. And the goal is to make this energy aggregation program and expand it to 100% renewable energy. So for sustainability purposes, I would highly suggest that we pursue that route and that you look into Collingswood's efforts, as I believe it might be on the ballot in November in that municipality. The reason I'm here tonight actually is because I was unsuccessfully trying to contact Public Works, figuring maybe their office might be closed. I had a fallen tree branch in my yard, and I wanted to call and contact regarding having a wood chipper get to my house. I cut up all the pieces, they're in my yard, I just need the chipper to arrive, and I guess there's a list that I need to be on.
Did you, Mr. Brett, did you put the chippings out at the street? Did you put all the brush out of the street?
Well, it says on the website that I was supposed to call Public Works and contact them that a chipper would be needed, so I wanted to call first before I put anything out on the street.
Harry, do you want them just to put it out now, or what do you want the process to be?
Is the chipper?
Yeah, right now,
The chipper's out, isn't it?
Now let Harry do the answer.
yeah, so place the brush at the curb line, and we are making rounds and chipping it up. We still have a secondary chipper at this time. So place it out at the curb and we'll be removing it from there.
I can do that now, I don't have to wait until yard waste on Monday?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you for your help.
Yes.
Did you have anything else?
No, I don't, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else from the public? Okay, seeing and hearing no one else, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion to close the public.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lovenstein, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion to close the public portion is there. Is there anything else before we do a motion to adjourn? Glad to see everyone. Everyone's doing good. And
Nick, I have a question. We didn't talk about schools, because I missed it. Anything going on with schools?
How much time you got?
yeah, just one quick answer.
Is it all going to be Zoom meetings and stuff online? Do we know yet?
So, John, let me real quick. My wife is a teacher. It's a fluid situation. It's changing day to day. There's nothing in right now. It could be online. My son works for Alma Mater Widener University. They went online today. My daughter's former school, Littrell, is going online. And my wife's schools down in Una are up in the air.
Gotcha.
So here's what I can tell you. The charge with every public school district in the state of New Jersey is to prepare a plan for reopening. That's what everybody's doing. And in the 12 districts that we and my firm represent, it has been basically the totality of my life for the last 3 weeks, as you can imagine. It was actually nice to come see you all tonight in a council meeting that wasn't a school board meeting, because you can, I'm sure you can imagine, there is a wide variety of opinions, and everybody is very passionate. So, it's one of those things that we're preparing for all options, and whether or not they open, I would say your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah,
I know letters went out for the last couple days, and I was told that it's Monday and Wednesday. They're going to be on a session Monday and Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, where you have the option to do virtual. So the rest of it, I'm not sure.
But Patty, it could come down tomorrow. There could be we're starting virtually. Like Philadelphia announced today that they're starting virtually. So that's what the plan is, I think, for Runnemede in the event that we get the green light to go. But that could get pulled at any time. It may have gotten pulled in the last half hour during this meeting. I don't know. It just changes so much. So thank you. I thought this was a safe space for me, and you ruined it, John. So I really appreciate that.
Sorry, Dan. Well, thank you for the work you're doing for our kids. I appreciate that.
Thanks. Thank you.
There's always a light. There's always a light. There's a reason.
I'm not seeing it right now, buddy.
I would like to add something. I know a lot of teachers that are involved in our community that are being proactive, taking additional classes and preparing to teach long hours and expand their program to online, things like that. So we have some great people in our town.
We sure do.
Yep. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second that.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Lovenstein. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See you all later.
Aye.
Be safe.
Our next meeting is Wednesday, right?
Our next meeting, that's a good question.
This Wednesday.
August 5th.
Yes.
And that's because of
Why is that?
Because we're having that all night out.
We don't have an excellent. Can we move that back?
No, we can't, because I already advertised the ordinance that date.
Okay, August 5th.
August 5th, Wednesday, 7 o'clock.
All right. Thanks, guys.